You never fail until you stop trying. There is no better story than Thomas to prove this. He failed 32 times before making money online. He built 32 products before one worked. And ironically, his winner is a platform to help other people launch their startup.
I saw a tweet from Nico saying something like product hunt is shit. I thought, okay, I have a directory full of tech startups, so why not take advantage of it and trying to pivot it into a launch platform?
Today he makes more than $20,000 a month and he's here to share his complete playbook with you. So if you're about to quit, this episode will give you the boost you need to keep going. So Thomas, you said 2 years ago, I'm not a good developer, I'm not a good designer, I'm not a good marketer, I'm an indie hacker, I master nothing, but I can do it all. That's where my power lies. Is it what it takes to build a SaaS to 20K a month? Be a person that can do it all?
Wow, what an intro. I can't believe you went through my X profile to find this tweet. I remember it, you know. That's a good question. There are a lot of things to say here. Um, I think, in short, yes. Most of the indie hackers I know today are former developers, you know. I used to be a developer too. And I think it's kind of a strength because you can build anything in a short amount of time and you feel confident in your product and so on. But it's also a huge weakness because as developers, you know, we tend to think of our product, you know, in a technical lens, yeah. And yeah, I think someone more used to marketing, sales, and so on, as you know, strengths we don't have as developers. We don't think about a lot about our product. How are we going to sell it? How are we going to market it? How are we going to talk about it? And yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's a strength to master all those skills. You know, you have to at some point if you want to make a living from it.
And as we just talked about, you just reached 20K a month with Unid only. You also have other projects. So first, congratulations. And second question is, what will be the share, like the percent of marketing that you need to actually bring a product to 20K a month?
Wow, that's also a good question. And I think the answer is going to be a bit surprising because in November, I didn't do a lot of development and my time was maybe, for Unit, it was maybe 80% marketing during the month of November, mainly because of the Black Friday. And it is the reason why I reached 20K last month. So yeah, yeah, I think 80% marketing.
So developers should spend more time doing marketing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. And it's not a natural thing to do, especially when you're starting. And I remember like maybe 2, 3 years ago, you know, when you told me like, hey, Thomas, do some marketing. I just didn't know what to do, you know. And it's like a muscle, you know. It's like posting on Twitter. At first, you don't know what to write, but the more you do it consistently, the more you're used to it, the more you learn, the more you can do it quickly and efficiently. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll go back to the distribution later. First, I just want to go back to the ID. Like, what is you need and how did you get the ID to build it?
Yeah, so Unit today is a launch platform, some sort of product alternative, but more focused on indie hackers, bootstrap business, and solopreneurs, and so on. And I got the idea thanks to Nico Janen 2 years ago. At first, Unit was a simple directory, and I saw a tweet from Nico saying something like, "Product hunt is shit," you know, because you don't know if you're going to be featured. The audience on Product Hunt is not so good these days. That's another debate, but yeah, yeah, I thought, okay, I have a directory full of tech startups and so on, so why not take advantage of it and trying to pivot it into a launch platform? So yeah, it was 2 years ago, and that's how I got the idea.
So you started first by the directory.
Yeah. It was, I think at first it was a really niche directory of tools for front-end developers.
Wow. And how did you monetize that, the directory?
Well, I didn't monetize it at first. It was simply, like some sort of fun project to try a new JavaScript framework, Next.js, who I think it was just released at that time. And yeah, it was just to try the new technology. And I know that at some point I added a form to allow people to submit their own tool on the website, and I used not tally form but something similar, a SaaS to integrate a form, and maybe 1 or 2 years later, I'm not sure of the timeline, I received an email from this form SaaS saying that hey, you reach your free limit and you must upgrade to receive more submissions. So I thought, hey, I got a lot of submissions on my product, so I added the tool manually back then. But I decided to, okay, it takes me too much time, to do that manually. So I decided to add only one product daily and to have some sort of waiting line, which I still have today. And at some point, the waiting line got very long, maybe 2 or 3 months long. So it was a problem. So I decided to put a price on it and say, hey, you can pay $30 to skip the waiting line and just have your tool published on the website immediately. And yeah, that's how it all started.
Amazing. And to come back a little bit before that, how many times did you fail before actually have a winner?
I had this conversation a few months before, and before this conversation, I never took the time to count how many projects I launched. But yeah, no, I know the exact number, and it's 32.
32.
So yeah, 32 in the past 6 years. So I don't know how many of them I launched before working full time on uni, but yeah, maybe 20, something like that. So yeah, a lot of tiny, like very small, not very useful projects.
Yeah, that's a lot, but you're here now. Why do you think you need succeed compared to the other one?
For a lot of reasons. I can go through all of them. There are a few technical reasons, a few maybe personal reasons, and a few strategic reasons. Um, I think the first one is I was at the right place at the right time. Like the tweet from Nico 2 years ago made a lot of noise. It was right on time when people actually started to complain about product and saying that okay, there was too many products submitted every day, so they never know if they're going to be featured. There are also a lot of bots today also, and a lot of small issues. I think that it was the right time to launch an alternative. 2 years ago, that I think there wasn't any serious competitors, maybe beta list, but yeah, it's kind of different. So I think I was the first OG competitor to Product Hunt. There are a lot more today, but yeah. And yeah, another reason was technical. Um, I think there are a lot of things to say here, but one thing that helped me a lot. So if you're planning to launch a launch platform, you should do that also. That was the badges. Product Hunt use this system also. Like when you win a daily launch, a weekly launch, a monthly launch or so, you win a badge. And when you put it on your website, it's basically a backlink to Product Hunt. So the more products that launch on your website, the more badges you give, the more backlink you have, and the more strength your domain have, which helps with your SEO. And SEO is kind of the second thing you can do here. Um, the more time passed with the launch platform, the more tools you have on your website, so the more data you can use. And I used all of this data, I still use them a lot, to build a lot of pages. I tried a lot of different things over the years, but what worked very, very well are the comparison pages, like alternative pages, for example, like, hey, the best alternative to Screen Studio, for example. This page ranks really well today on Google. Product detailed page works well too. If you take the time to put some internal backlinks. And what can I say?
Did you learn SEO yourself? Like, do you have a background in SEO or not at all?
Not at all. I learned SEO basically by following a lot of people on X. I can, I'll send you some profile if you want to subscribe. But yeah, basically I learned while making a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes with Unit SEO over the years, and yeah, just trying.
And you say there is the third reason is personal.
Yeah.
What is it?
I think I'm pretty sure that that's the most interesting one. Unit took a lot of time before succeeding. Even when, like 2 years ago, when I pivoted from a directory to a launch platform, back then my revenue was something like 2K per month. And at the moment I pivoted into a launch platform, my revenue went down a lot, from 2K to maybe $400 or $500 per month. And it took a lot of time to, get up again my revenue. But I think the key here was patience. Because building a launch platform is kind of building, a marketplace or social media. You start from zero. You have to attract people who submit products, but also people who are interested in discovering products. So it's a tough balance to find, but yeah, it requires a lot of time also to build your personal brand.
What kept you going in this time when your revenue went down? It took a long time to come back. Like, what was the motivation?
That's a good question. I don't think someone ever asked me that. I think I always wanted to, being able to live from my projects. That was like that's been my goal since I'm able to use a computer, I think. And I knew it was going to take a long time. Um, you can't, unless you're really, really talented, you can't really succeed in like a few months. It takes a lot of time. And one thing that helped me a lot was automating most of my work. Like back then, 2 years ago, everything on Unit was automated. The launch days, the comments, the waiting line, and so on. And so I didn't have to, work every day on it. So it was okay for me to, I don't know, have some down moments, work on something else from time to time, just to change my mind and, take a step back. And yeah, I think that was one of the keys. And another reason is that I was freelancing back then, part-time, so I wasn't really worried about the money. I was able to, buy an apartment, buy food, and, have a pretty great life without my projects. And I think we're all different regarding this, but personally, it helped me to relieve the pressure and yeah, just take the time to build something great.
We are different because for me, I need to be really like close to the cliff and almost fall to actually like be okay. Now I have to build. And if I am too comfortable, sometimes it's pretty hard to have the hunger to build. But I think what you did is a good thing because for me, like I never really had a job and I was always really short on money. When I was in Bali, I was spending like, I was earning less than €1,000 a month and I had to live with that. And, like it was always short. And I wish that I kept a freelancing job for a while to be more like stable. But yeah, I think we're all different with that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that it's really interesting because when you read some people on Twitter or on the social media, they're all trying to sell you one way, to succeed in the hacking. Be it like yourself putting a lot of pressure, or on the contrary, I don't know, launching a lot of projects and so on. But yeah, I think you have to find your way. It's the most difficult part. To me, it's really impressive. I can't even imagine your life and you're eager, to succeed, while earning a lot of money and not having a job and so on. I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, I'm convinced I wouldn't have, how do you say that? I wouldn't been able to do anything, under these circumstances. So yeah, everyone's different.
Yeah, we are for sure. And to go back to Unid, what is the distribution looking like? Like there is SEO, there is Twitter. What is the share? Is there other stream of traffic revenue?
Yeah. Um, It's pretty well distributed among SEO, Twitter, and direct traffic also. Direct traffic is today it's the number one source of visitors by far. Half of the visitors today are people that come back to Unit, every day or a few times per week. And it's interesting because that wasn't the case like a year ago. A year ago, my main traffic acquisition was Twitter by far, like maybe 70 or 80%. And then I realized there was some people, coming on the website every day, just checking the product, leaving some comments and voting the product. And I thought, okay, those are the people that I want to bet on, They are the most precious thing I have on Unit. So yeah, a year ago I shifted all my way of thinking, to think about those users rather than my other acquisition channel, Twitter and SEO. And yeah, today the direct traffic is most of Unit's traffic. Twitter is maybe 20%, something like that. SEO 30, and yeah, the rest is direct traffic or various sources.
Which is crazy because I just checked on Ahrefs before, and this is actually true. Like the main keyword is Unid that brings you the
Yeah.
most traffic. And I feel like this is what any SEO wants, like build a brand on Google, and you did it. Why? What is it that made like you need a brand, you think? Like you say you were like analyzing these people and starting to see that these people were coming back. What was the answer?
I did a lot of things. First, it was pretty hard for me to accept that even though I have a lot of traffic through SEO, I have some pages that rank, but it doesn't attract the kind of users I want on Unit. It doesn't attract people who submit a lot of product or who follow a lot of product. So when I started to analyze the behavior and the way of thinking of my active users, I realized that they were treating Unit like a game, every day they would show up on the website, click on maybe 3 or 4 products, click to read the description, leave a comment from time to time. So yeah, I decided, okay, let's build something more gamified for those users. So I introduced a really simple feature. Product Hunt has it too. I called it Strix. On Product Hunt, it's called Karma. So basically, every day you logged into a unit and about a product, you win 1 karma, and the more karma you have, the more the more rewards you can win. You can win a lot of different rewards, but you can also have an upvote multiplier, and this is something Product Hunt doesn't have. I think they should, because the concept is really interesting and it works really well with those kind of users. The more active they are on Unit, the more their upvote count, the more their upvote matters on the platform. And today, if you check like the top 3 product of the day, you realize that the reason they are on the podium is mainly because some active users on Unit, some member of the community voted the product, not because some random stranger that came and just left one vote, So yeah, I think the most important thing here was to make them feel at home.
Yeah, and I think it's a pretty big job to do that. And you do it well because I remember when I launched my second product on Unid, Pauline actually voted and it was 2 votes. And it pushed me like, I don't know, something like first one or something like that. And I was like, wow, it's actually heavy if you just bring 2 votes just because she spent a lot of time on the platform. And I haven't seen it anywhere else. And I feel like it pushed people that, yeah, probably just going back on the website to prepare their lunch. So yeah, what do people do actually? Do they ask their friend or like ask the people around, maybe go on the website few days before and start to upvote to get actually the 2 vote before the vote?
Yeah, people do a lot of things. It's a bit different from Product Hunt, even though, people are starting to receive emails from, people selling bots like, hey, let me know and I can bot your product for $50. Crazy. I tried to fight them, but yeah, it's a bit complicated. But yeah.
What?
Um,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about like you talk a lot about product hunt and you have Unid. What is the market share like compared to product hunt? Like how far can you go with Unid?
Wow, I have absolutely no idea. I can't even compare with Product Hunt. I think our audience is a bit different. Today, if you want to win on Product Hunt, you basically have to either buy a bots or have a huge audience, so have a lot of money or have a big account on social media to ask people to about your product. And that's not the case on Unid. To win on Unid, you have to like having an audience help, but you mostly have to convince Unid's community member to about your product. And the game is a bit different here, I think. But yeah, regarding the share of the market, I don't think I can put any number. Like Unit is way too small yet compared to Product Hunt. But yeah, the market is big and it's getting bigger and bigger, especially on the indie hacker side. Like, I don't know if you remember it, but 2 years ago, no one knew about indie hacking and bootstrap business and so on. But it keeps growing, like months, every month. The traffic on Indeed is growing. The people on X talking about their side project is growing, and I think it will keep growing, mostly because of AI.
Yeah, and I mean, more and more people will be able to build with AI, so there will be more and more products. People like me who come and just throw product on it. You
Yeah.
said product hunt was on the downhill because a lot of bots arrived, like as you say, people were selling the vote and everything. How do you protect unit from that? Let's say tomorrow you're as big as product hunt. Do you have like an idea on how to protect it?
Yeah, I have a few ideas. I think the main thing is that I'm pretty sure, like right now, as we speak, Product Hunt is thinking about that, but there are, as you said, it's easier and easier to build products these days, and it means that there are more and more products, but the quality of those products is like not really, good most of the time. So it means that on Unit and on Product Hunt, most of the products submitted are not really of good quality, and probably won't interest a lot of people. So the first thing, in my opinion, is to find a way to filter a bit those type of products. On Product Hunt, they're not filtered. Like everyone can basically launch their product tomorrow, without paying anything, and they have their chances if they buy a vote or if they have a big audience, regardless of the quality of their product. And I think the main challenge for Unit and Product Hunt in the coming years will be to ensure this quality, make sure all those products work, are not AI generated, or are not going to die a few weeks after the launch. And I think the only way to do it is to check the website manually. Like today, it's easy to spot. Yeah, you can spot a landing page built by AI. It will probably change. Maybe in 6 months, you won't be able to tell the difference. But right now, we can. And that's what Product Hunt is doing. And that's what I'm doing too.
I have a few questions about it because the first one is, do you see how to replicate the crazy traction that a lot launching platform have to another business? Because we talked about SEO. I come from SEO. I used to do affiliate SEO, and the dream of any SEO is to have a backlinking engine like a launching platform. Like as you said, like people first they add the badge on their website so that you get a backlink, which is power to your website. But then every day people are fighting to bring person on your website. You know, like if I launch a product, I will fight on all my social media, in my email list, everywhere to actually send traffic to your website. Have you ever thought about how you can replicate that to any other business?
That's a good question. I did actually. I didn't find a system as good as a launch platform yet. I think it's rather complicated to find the exact same way of working, but not make a launch platform. But I think you can make launch platforms for pretty much everything. Like I wanted to build a launch platform for video games last year. I kind of quit on it, but I'm pretty sure there's a market in a lot of different niche. Like you
Mhm.
can imagine a launch platform for I don't know for bikes, for video games, for music, for everything basically. Um, I don't know. I think the system can be replicated, but I've never seen a launch platform working very well besides a tech product. I'm not sure if you know a launch platform, for another subject.
No, I shared the idea on the X like a while ago, and someone built it, and I have to ask him if it works. But it was like, let's say, um, a dog platform, which people will
Oh,
share every single day. For example, well, this is my dog, and I can have the badge like the cutest dog of the day, cutest dog of the week, cutest dog of the month. And of course, people will like send all their family on their website to vote. And then on top of that, if this work, if the traction is there, then you can actually build a blog and do affiliate with like dog food, dog accessories, because it's pretty hard.
oh,
Like this dog, the dog niche, I thought about it because it's one of the biggest one. Like you make a lot of money because people buy food and it's like a recurring commission because it's like a subscription. So yeah, I thought about that. Someone did it because I didn't want to build that myself at all. But I'm curious to know if this works because yeah, I think it could work in a niche where the community is strong. I feel like indie
yeah,
hacking, the community is really strong. Another example would be, for example, Harley Davidson, like, where the
yeah.
community is like so strong that people would actually spend the time to actually send people on their profile. Actually, you could do that, Harley Davidson of the day. But yeah, I thought
Yeah.
about it because honestly, I'm an SEO and I thought about that. I'm like, this is crazy. Or you can get a lot of backlinks and a lot of traffic. It's a lot of work. Like what you built with Unid, it's a lot of work to actually get that traction. But when you get it, it's amazing. So yeah, I will
Yeah.
keep thinking about it.
You you should do that. I think I'm not 100% convinced about the dog launch platform because it's mostly B2C. So, in my opinion, the incentive to launch your dog is not really strong enough. But I might be wrong on that because, yeah, I know people, me including, are really passionate about dogs. So, yeah, I don't know. But maybe, if you find an idea where it's interesting enough for the sellers and for the people looking for those products, um, I think you can make it, you know. If I take the bike example, you could, I don't know if it would work, but you could build a launch platform for new bike models, you know. There are a lot of bikes models releasing every day. And like it would be an incentive for brands to publish their bike because, you know, they would be competing against other brands and they would get a lot of traffic and so on. But it would also be really interesting for the consumer, you know, for people who wanted to buy a bike because they would be able to compare bikes to see people's comments and so on. And I think you have to find an idea like that, you know. You have to interest both sides of the marketplace. But yeah, it's a pretty solid business.
You say that you have to interest both sides. How do you do that on Unit? Because of course business pay to get access to the list. I mean to be listed. Do you do any affiliate on your listing, like alternative to like Gumroad, for example? Do you do affiliate on that, and do you make good money with it? Because I see your smile.
I do it a bit. I have a few affiliates link on Unit web page, but I don't do that on the product listing, you know, like the homepage or the letters and so on. I don't use affiliate links, but yeah, on the pages I do use affiliate link. It's not a huge success, you know. I don't earn a lot of money with that. Maybe a few $100 per month, but that's it. And regarding of the traffic, that's really not a huge success, you know. It's a really small. But I'm pretty sure if I had the, you know, the spirit, the mind to do that, I could make it work. But I'm not really good at business, to be honest. I don't know how to think as an affiliate. I don't know how to interest them and so on. And I don't know how to build a platform that would make it interesting, you know. And most important thing is that, as I said earlier, most of Unit's users are recurring ones. So they're not coming on Units through my SEO pages. They're coming, you know, just directly, you know, by typing Unit on their browser. So they don't end up on those SEO pages, you know, I generate.
You also monetize another way. I think you talked about it and you probably still do it, is the newsletter, right?
Yeah, the newsletter is great. The monetization is okay. I think I sell ad spot at $90 per issue. So I send 4 issues per month. So that's like $300 per month. So it's not a lot. But I think I should have mentioned the newsletter when you talked about how did Unit succeed, because the newsletter is a huge reason of that. Today, I think we just reached 12,000 subscribers, and with a 40% open rate, I clean the list like every week to maintain a good open rate. And yeah, I think there are a lot of people. I'm not a newsletter reader myself, so I have some trouble understanding that. But I forgot a lot of people who read the newsletter every week, check the ranking, you know, the leader, the best product of the week and of the month, and those people just click on the top 3 products every week, check their website, and that's it. But that's enough for me, you know, because that's one visit to per user to their website, to this website, you know, and it's a huge distribution channel. Like you probably get more traffic by being mentioned in the newsletter than during your launch day when you need.
Yeah, and I like that because when I did the launch, I really wanted to be, what is it, first of the week or the month? To be in the,
Both. If you're in the podium of the week, you're mentioned in 1 issue, and if you're in the podium of the month, you're mentioned in 2 issues.
yeah, so it really pushed you to actually get the thing. So it's really well gamified. Yeah. And you are doing all of that alone, or did you hire people because that's a lot of work?
Honestly, I'm alone. That's not a lot of work. That's a lot of work to build the whole thing. You know, it takes a lot of time, and there are a lot of lines of code behind it. But on the day-to-day basis, it's not really a lot of work. Maybe except the customer service. I think I'm replying to maybe 30 emails and DMs every day. So yeah, that takes a lot of time. But no, I'm still alone. I just hire freelancers to write some product reviews when I have too many of them to write. But yeah, that's it.
Well, that's amazing. That's the dream, I think. And you just launched Unit Community, or that's something recent, right? What is it
Yeah.
about and why?
um, it's part of my, I said a few minutes before that I was focused on building a platform for community users, from people who visit Unit every day, at least regularly. And I wanted to double down on that. And I realized at some point that most of Unit members, active users, are not very well known on Twitter or LinkedIn or any social media. And most of them are like complete strangers. So I reached out to a few of them and I just asked, hey, would you like me to build, some kind of Twitter inside Unit? This way you could have some visibility. You won't be a stranger. You don't have to obey to an algorithm and to post every day and so on. And I wasn't really confident about it, to tell you the truth. But like 100% of them said yes. I would be, active in that community. I want some place to just, share my journey and at least have a few comments or at least have a few people interesting, in what I'm sharing. And I don't want to, post clickbaits and all this type of thing you have to post on social media to, just have a voice. And so yeah, I built it for them. And if I'm being completely transparent, the business goal with the Unit community is not really important. That Unit community is not attracting a lot of new users. It's more some way of fidelizing, keep users engaged on the platform, but that won't attract new people on the website. So I just built it. I built a lot of basic features like post, being able to link your product to each of your posts, being able to post images and so on, being able to share your launch on the news feed. But that's it. And I'm not planning to build a lot of things yet around it. I just want to leave it there and see if there is some, regular activity. And so far it's working. We just reached 1,000 posts in a month. So that's not huge, but for a small community, it's something. And yeah, I think I just see how it evolves in the next few weeks and few months before making any decisions.
Well, that's really cool. And if you had to start again, but any SaaS, what is the biggest mistake that you made and you would avoid now?
I think if I had to start again, I won't build a launch platform. Um, it might sound pretty strange to say, but I think first reason is I got really lucky. I was there at the right time, in the right place. But building a launch platform, yeah, you can see it with all my competitors today. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and if you succeed, okay, that's perfect. You have something great. You can use your launch platform to launch other projects and so on. But the chances of success, I think, are even smaller than a SaaS, And I don't know, at least in the tech area. Maybe if you can find another niche, it can work more easily. But I think if I had to start again, I'd rather surf on trends. Like right now, you can see, I don't know, a lot of SaaS to schedule your content on social media. Well, it means that there's a huge market. So maybe it could be a good idea. You also see a lot of things that are AI based to build products, to accelerate your workflow as a developer. So the market is booming right now. There are a lot of things to build. The playground is kind of new. So maybe it will be easier, you know?
It's true. Like I see post scheduler, I see Super X, then I see Postel, before that Post Bridge,
Yeah.
now Post Syncer, and then Post Planify, if I say it right, from Hassan. And the crazy thing is
Yeah.
that they are all making money. Like,
Yeah.
all different level right now, but they are all on Twitter, all talking to the same audience, and they are all making money. And I think
Yeah.
that the only difference, of course, feature-wise, there is difference, but it's also, and I think that's where a lot of business goes, is like the personal brand. You choose your product based on the person behind. And I don't say that they are all the same feature-wise. I don't say that they are the same quality of product, but still, I feel like you choose your product based on the person behind, and it makes a lot of space for you to build actually a product, build in public, and make it around you and your community as well. What do you think about it?
Yeah, that's very true. And you see, yeah, all those schedulers make some money. Um, Most of my competitors, like launch platform, don't make money. And I think the difference is with if we keep this example of loan of post schedulers, like they can provide value to their users right now just by showing giving their product. You can't with the platform because at first you won't have any traffic. And yeah, I think the personal brand here is really interesting because indie hackers are what's the word for that? Like your first users, you know? Most of indie hackers are willing to try new products, early adopters. That's the word I was looking for. And yeah, I think a personal brand here can make the world difference if you manage to find your own voice, have your tiny audience on social media and people who trust you, who are willing to try your product. That's the soul you need to start, to build a product. And like the market is huge, way bigger than we can even picture it in your mind, Um, like when you open Twitter, you will think, oh, okay, there are 50 people looking at my post, and no, there are thousands of people of potential customers on the internet, and there are enough customers for everyone. I think the market cannot be crowded. I'm pretty sure of that.
No, and like I honestly forgot the name of this post scheduler, but I did some research about like influencer marketing, YouTube marketing on post scheduler, and there was one I forgot the name, but he's making so much money, like millions with that, and of course he's not even the biggest one. It's like one in the middle that is already making huge money, and when you see how much Super X make, how much
Yeah,
Tweet Hunter used to make, you see that there is still a huge gap for them to go. And then above that, they can either sell and then another brand take over and scale it, or they could scale it
yeah.
themselves. So there is definitely a huge space. So yeah, I totally agree for that.
Yeah, I
And
think that's one of the biggest market. I think one way of making sure that just ask your friends who are active on social media if they're using a content scheduler. I'm pretty sure most of them will say no.
yeah, true. But I think it's more true on platform like LinkedIn, Threads, and X, because I tried to post on short form video, and I feel like it's still a manual work. It's weird to say, but the platform are so different that you still need the manual work. While for LinkedIn, Threads, and X, I post the same content, and it's usually work. It doesn't need a lot of work like on each platform. So yeah. It's a good
Yeah,
transition to talking about Rob, for example, from SuperX. You just spent an entire month almost in the hacker residency in Da Nang in a beautiful villa with HRG in a beautiful villa with a lot of successful entrepreneur and people who are going to be really huge as well, for sure. What is the biggest takeaway? Now, let's say the three biggest takeaway that you take from that, like the
Wow.
lesson you had, or like the quote you heard, or whatever.
I don't think I have some quotes to give, but I can definitely find three takeaways. And I think the biggest one for me is that I don't know how to formulate it, but in my daily life, I'm not surrounded by people who build products. I'm not surrounded by entrepreneurs. Most of my friends have a regular job, and that's okay. But it really, really, really helps to just talk and live among people who are building things. The spirit is really different, and for me, it helped me to, completely grow my motivation. And I think it's really important. So my first takeaway would be to try to surround yourself with people who are as ambitious as you. That's the first one. The second one would be a bit different. During the hacker residency, the plan was basically to spend a month locked in a villa and working like most of the days, and it worked. Like I did a lot of work, and it was a huge success. So I'm really happy with that. But I realized one thing: um, you can't spend your life working. you know it just doesn't work. Like I track my time when I work. I have an automatic timer, and basically my working time looked like this. The first days I was working a lot, and the last week my working time got divided by maybe two. And not because my motivation was lower, but because you will not made to spend 10 hours per day for a month in front of a computer. So I think one takeaway here would be to be able to listen to yourself and understand that you can't rush things. You have to find your own pace to work, and that's really important. And you can't just live that way and work 10 hours per day for months and be okay after that. I don't believe in that, but I think that's also really personal.
Yeah.
And the third takeaway, let me see. Yeah, I have one other takeaway. Maybe it's the most important one. Um, the best food is in France. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Don't agree. I feel like where I live, the food is amazing, but it's not Indonesian. So yeah, but we have an amazing food for sure. Yeah. Well, I I think we were a lot of us watching what happened in the house, what happened in the villa. I feel like the people who organized that did an amazing job because seeing who they brought, what they did, the kind of event, I think that was a really like big job for them, and I feel like they did really well. Will you do it again?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yes. Just regarding their amount of work, yes, you can't even imagine like the four people who organized this. I can't even comprehend the stress and the workload they have to go through during this month. It was crazy. They work maybe more than most of us, and so yeah, thank you to every one of them. That was amazing. And yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I would definitely do it again. Maybe not a full month in the other side of the world because I like my life here
Mhm.
and I missed my bike.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I would love to organize something, maybe a bit smaller, but something like the hacker residency in France or in Europe. And so yeah, I've been thinking about that for the past few days. Yeah, the experience has been really, really like I will never forget that. I'm pretty sure that was the most rich experience I've never lived in my life. So I definitely want to live that again.
Well, I can see that on your face, which is really cool. Well, now let's go back to work a bit. WriteEasy.com. What
Oh,
is it?
what is it? What is White Easy? It's a good question because it's like I'm not really good at pitching it because I didn't work on that, but it's basically a simple blogging platform. Like if you know about Ghost, WordPress, and Medium or things like that, they all have their issues. Like Ghost is really expensive, like crazy expensive. Medium is paid now, and we wanted to with Hugo, my co-founder, who is also the co-founder of Malt, the biggest freelancing
Oh,
platform in Europe. And we wanted to have some place to, it sounds dumb to say, but just write and publish. That's it. And there's one competitor of Write Easy today, which is called Beer Blog, doing a great job. It's like a simple blog without any customization, without even any CSS, just a plain HTML, and you write and you publish. And it's crazy because there's only one guy behind this. He's at something like 40K MRR in like 2 years. And it's just basic HTML, and it's cost $5 per month. So he has a lot of customers. So the market here is really, really big. And our bet with Hugo is that personal blogs were kind of dead the past few years. People prefer to, watch videos on YouTube or read tweets or, short content. But we're noticing, and more, people wanting more authenticity. This day, everything can be written by AI. YouTube is full of AI generated videos, and I'm not saying that's bad, but at some point, people will start craving, for more human made things, for authenticity. And our bet is that the personal blogs will rise again because of that. With a personal blog, you can truly build some sort of relationship with your readers. You can't really build that on Twitter because when you post a tweet, most of the people won't read it, will miss it maybe, and you will quickly get drawn into, the social media. But with a blog, it's possible. Everyone can read all your blog posts, interact with that, and you have more time and more space to express yourself and to differentiate yourself a bit from AI and from the other people. And with Write Easy, I wasn't really sure about this statement before. I had my doubts, to be honest. So I wanted to try it myself. So during the hacker residency, I wrote one blog post every day, and really quickly, all those blog posts were just basically me journaling and telling what I've did in my day. Like, hey, I get up, I hate AM, I work 2 hours, I saw a monkey on the road, things like that. Really simple. But people were way more engaged than they are on Twitter. I received a lot of messages and on Twitter and on my emails and in the comments and so on. And the traffic on my personal blog actually went up every day, like crazy. Like at the end of the month, I had maybe 400 readers every day. So that's just astonishing for me. And I started with like 15 users, so yeah, the growth has been crazy. And to give you an example, I had to leave the hacker residency a bit early because some personal issues. And I wasn't active on social media. I didn't check my emails, my messages, and so on for 4 days. And in 4 days, I received more than 60 personal message on Twitter because people were worried. Hey, well, why didn't you put your blog post online? What happened? Are you okay? And so on. So I never had that before writing a blog. So I'm really sorry about this long answer,
No,
but
I,
I wanted to explain why I'm building Right Easy, and that's the
I,
reason.
I think you started with like, I'm not really good at pitching, and to be really honest with you, I want to be your customer now. You know why?
Wow.
Because yeah, you are good. I had this question myself because in France I had this website asynchrone.com, which was my handle on X, and now I wanted to do it again in English because I like blogging. There is few example. Peter Level's first one. I read every single blog post of him, and I think there was nothing more impactful than that. All these
Yeah.
tweets are cool, but the blog post, they were so personal, they were so interesting, and I wish he continued. Like there is few of them, for example, why he stopped, why he blocked his DM, or why he's like unreachable. Amazing. Another one is like what I would say to my 18 years old self.
Yeah.
And this kind of blog like stay in your mind. Second example, Tim Ferriss, amazing blog. He used to, for example, write a blog on comparing your audience to a real situation. For example, if you have 10,000 followers, it's like this little stadium. If you have 100K followers, it starts to be a big city. And then he compared like the audience with the big city. Then in a big city, there is a serial killer, there is a crazy man, there is like drunk people. And like this kind of blog posts, you read them, they stay in your mind. And if you want to go back to it, you can. It's like a book.
Yeah.
While tweets, they go away. You never see them again. YouTube video, you can go back, but yeah, it's a different thing. So all of that to say that I 100% agree with you. I feel like blogs are really something unique, and I didn't want to use WordPress anymore because I'm done with it. The update you have to do. If you don't
Yeah.
go on the website, it's probably broken because Elementor doesn't work or whatever. So I was looking for an easy way to actually have one landing page and a blog that I could just write. And I feel like if you write a blog post, it will be longer than a newsletter, or it will be deeper and more personal, because a
Yeah.
newsletter, you always think about open rate, you think about CTA, you think about conversion, while a blog post, you can think about SEO, but I don't think that you really write it for SEO. You just write it because you're really um, I want to say fan, because it's really people who follow you and like you to actually know what is happening in your mind. So no, I think you convinced me to try writeeasy.com
Man,
and
you're
this
a better
episode is
seller than I am. You basically described authenticity, because I agree with you. Personal blog are maybe the only way on the internet to write without any algorithm or goals or numbers in mind. So it's really important, and yeah, that's why I'm betting on that. And if you want to try White Easy, try it. I put you premium for a year just so you can see if you have any results. That would be really incredible.
well, let's do that. I'm committed now. Amazing. Well, that's a really cool idea. Two last question to finish it. First one, you have this bike behind you. I know you cycle a lot. You do sport. What sport teach you that help you business wise?
Whoa. That's really funny because a few days ago, someone told me, Travis, if you watch this, that's you. Someone told me that I was riding my bike the same way I was building projects. Like on my bikes, I love long distance trips. I can go to ride for the whole day to do like 200 kilometers in a day, and because I see that as a marathon, not a sprint. And that's the same thing with my project. So I think biking, cycling to teach me patience.
Well, you need a lot of patience for that. The time you have
Yeah.
to, yeah, the time you need to train. Amazing, good one actually. And the second one is like if someone who wants to start online, build any business, maybe a post scheduler or a blog platform, what would you say to this person who start?
I hope I won't disappoint anyone, but I'm pretty convinced there's not a straightforward answer to this question because everyone is different. And I think the most important thing is to try a lot of ways, like try to build in public, try Twitter. If you like it, stick on it. Just give up on everything else and just focus on building in public on Twitter. You can try YouTube, you can try a newsletter, you can try SEO. Just try everything. See what do you like, what you're willing to do for on the long term, for years, and focus on that. Choose one or two maximum channels and quit on everything else. Just focus.
Thomas, thank you.
Thank you, Florian.